Hello, I'm back. It's been a while. I've been offline or not making any YouTube videos the whole summer. And I would like to share what has been going on for me. This summer for me has been about love and reopening to love in general. So, for those of you who have seen some of my previous videos, you know that I'm a single mom. I separated from my ex 1.5 years ago, and there have been different stages that I went through in order to reopen to love again. And I just want to quickly share with you how that looked. So, when I split with my ex, that was in December 23. It was a pretty big decision because it meant that I would lose everything. I would lose the house that we were living in. I had to move out. I lost the car because we just literally had an accident before flying to Switzerland. We had a business together, and with the separation I also lost the employment in the business. I didn't own anything in the business. I didn't own any finances or like any money. So I was financially completely dependent. And yeah, so I had to go back to Switzerland, to my parents' house, to find clients, to earn my own money again. I had to leave behind my family, my son, who stayed with my ex. So, yes, I lost everything. And my only goal was to find work so I could go back to the island and see my kid again. Luckily, I succeeded. I found work. I went back to Madeira and I borrowed some money from my parents to buy myself a car because in Madeira you just can't get anywhere without a car. And I stayed at friends' couches and guest bedrooms and just managed to survive. I was really not anywhere close to thinking about love or partnership at that time. I rejected everything that had to do with it. I rejected men in general, I think. And after a few months, I started to crave love, but it came from a really needy place, from a place of lack. And I knew that I wasn't ready for a relationship with anyone. And I did get to know someone that I ended up having something unserious with. And I was just transparent from the beginning and said, look, I am not ready for a relationship. I just want connection. And this was reciprocal. So we ended up having something in around April, May of 24. And then we didn't have contact for a while. During the summer, I found a place to live, this house. And I was just really in hustling mode, getting my life back together, getting on my own 2 feet. And yeah, so the summer passed, and in September, I reconnected with that person who I had this fling in spring. And I realized then that this connection had served the purpose and I didn't want to continue it. he also started to get feelings that I couldn't reciprocate. And yeah, I felt a shift in my personal stage. I shifted into this hyper independent woman energy, where I just couldn't be dealing with anyone else's baggage. I didn't have the head for it. I didn't have the patience for it. I just needed to focus on my life, on myself, on my home with my kid. And so I ended this relationship and just hustled away, worked away. And I worked so hard that I didn't notice I was just burning myself out. And by the beginning of 2025, I was so burnt out. I realized I had to really just slow down. And I had a major breakdown, like an emotional and mental breakdown in March, and another one in April. And I went to really, really dark places during this time, because I think once I started slowing down in February with work and everything, my body started to feel safe enough to bring up all the shit that had been buried underneath. I needed to work through it. I needed to heal through it. And I was very, very lucky to have someone by my side who came into my life only a couple of months earlier. He had been an acquaintance just from the village that I live. And we started hanging out more, a little bit more. I mean, not really hanging out, more like we saw each other often down at the beach bar where I sometimes work, and we just started talking and getting to know each other better. And he had been someone I got along well with, but I never considered him as like anything more than a friend, because he had quite a reputation of being the heartbreaker of women and so on. So that wasn't the question for me. And it was actually really good to just have someone there. And he was also one that dealt with a lot of darkness and difficulties, and I knew that he understood what I was going through. What happened is that one day I noticed I was sitting in that bar and I saw him ordering a coffee, and like my heart went, there he is, and started like opening up, and I realized, I think I'm starting to like him. And it came with mixed feelings, because I really didn't want to catch feelings for this person because I knew that he was completely the wrong person for me. His lifestyle did absolutely not match mine. And I knew it would just end in trouble and hurt and pain. And I tried to suppress those feelings from coming up or from developing. And as you know, anything that you suppress wants to be heard even more. So that didn't work. The feelings developed and just started to be louder and louder. And he eventually told me that he liked me. So this has been the biggest conflict that came up for me, because now there's two people that liked each other, and my rational mind just pointed out all the red flags, and I knew that I shouldn't, but yeah, there was this big battle between mind and heart. In other instances, I would have just given myself into the situation, but in this case, I didn't. I blocked it. And what happened is that it stopped the flow in all areas of my life, not just in love, but also in work. And I was not productive. My head was constantly with this person. My time with myself, that also was blocked, and my head was consumed with this one thing that I pushed away. And eventually that tension grew so big that I gave into it, and I gave into it with a lot of guilt, and shame, kind of, that I fell for this person that I know is going to hurt me. But once I did connect with him, everything started to flow again, and even my work started to flow again, and my creative juices started to flow again, and life just seemed easier. And of course, my mind was always on high alert. But this person who I had judged so much was the person who cracked open something in me that made me open my heart and let the love in again after it being closed for such a long time. And yeah, in hindsight, I mean, it was a very short time that we spent together. It was maybe 1 or 2 weeks before I left on holiday to Switzerland, to visit my family. And I knew that during the time that I was gone, he was going to be with other girls. But the 2 weeks prior had been so beautiful. And I experienced the feeling of being in love with someone and being wanted and loved by someone. And just to remember this did so much within me. And yes, I did get hurt when I discovered what had happened after I came back from holiday. And I did have to work through some grief and pain, which is normal because I felt betrayed, and I was in a way betrayed. But I also realized after some time and some healing that for what I knew he was, the 2 weeks that he gave me was real, and he gave me his full attention. He gave me his love. He was present. And it was just enough to fill me up with the memory of love, so I would be able to open up my heart and be ready for the right person to come into my life and give me that love. Because in this universe, you do get what you send out. And I just really didn't remember how it felt to be in love. And to remember this feeling and to finally kind of integrate it and radiate this feeling out again, this is all I need to attract a true love. And for this, I am really grateful. He may not be my man, but he was a very important key for the next steps. So yes, I'm trusting in the process. And yeah, I'm really proud of myself also to look back and not be focusing on that pain so much and falling into victim mode. Since the last relationship with my ex, I learned so much about setting boundaries. And, this time when I got hurt, I don't have to reject all that love that I received in the 2 weeks. I can keep that love and set the boundaries and walk away. And yes, that's the message that I wanted to share today. This might help someone out there. And yes, I'm going to see you next time. And thanks for tuning in.